Hey everybody, Johnny Disc Golf here with another off-season interview. This time I am joined by 2021 Rookie of the Year, Mr. Gannon Buhr. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm doing great, man. It's a little bit rainy. We've got an atmospheric river here in San Francisco, but it's hard to complain. It's been beautiful for a month. How's life in Iowa? I assume that's where you're back for the off-season?
Yep. Actually, this week is super nice. It's supposed to get up to 70 on Wednesday. But there's also supposed to be 50 plus mile an hour gusts just randomly for no reason. That's Iowa. But it should be dropping to like 20, 25 here in the next week. So that's gonna suck.
Okay. That's when winter gets real out there. But
Yeah.
listen, let's talk about the reason we're having you on, Rookie of the Year. Like, first reaction, how does it feel?
It's incredible, honestly. Wow, I could have never imagined that. I came into this year not having really any expectations because I had only played one disc golf pro tour event, and I was coming off a pretty major injury, which I had, like I said, no expectations. And after the first few events of the year, even just looking on the PDGA points, Rookie of the Year, which is not the same as the disc golf pro tour
Hmm.
points, but I was ahead by quite a lot, and at that point, kind of just kept it rolling. And next thing you know, the end of the year is here, and I got crowned Rookie of the Year, which is super cool.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, were you kind of paying attention to the PDGA Player of the Year / Disc Golf Pro Tour? Did you kind of even know this was a thing going into the end of the year?
I was really focusing on the PDGA Rookie of the Year, because that's like I don't think you can see the stats for the Disc Golf Pro Tour Rookie of the Year.
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
um, I kind of just saw I was way ahead of everyone, and I knew the Disc Golf Pro Tour Rookie of the Year was a thing, but I kind of just assumed I'd probably get it with how the PDGA stats were looking.
Okay, contrary to a lot of pro golfers are doing this off season, right? A lot of times it's the grind of a tour. They get to go back, they're laying up, they're kicking back, relaxing. You've got like fourth period social studies on a Monday. So what has it been like? You're having this like award success, people are reaching out to you, but then you also have to go to school and interact with your friends, teachers, and succeed on that front. What's it been like juggling those two worlds?
Um, it's just a lot of work right now, especially coming into the end of the year with school. We got a ton of work, so um, but it's been awesome. I have a lot of support from my friends in school, and hoping to get homeschooled next year or next semester, just so I can stay on tour a lot easier. It's really tough to come back after missing, like when I played USDGC and Pro Tour
Hmm.
finals, I missed 2 weeks of school, and I was so far behind, and that really was not fun to catch up. And I don't want to do that again. So I'm hoping to
Hmm.
find an alternate solution for that.
Yeah, so that's the obvious question is like how are you still doing well in your studies? You're obviously excelling in the disc golf world, but I imagine it can be hard to do both. You said you kind of fell behind. Do you still find yourself with reasonable grades?
Yeah, usually, I mean, if I don't miss any school, I'm usually like an A B
Yeah.
student. But with like missing school, it kind of dropped a little bit, which was, I mean, I didn't like the classes, but obviously still want to get good grades. But
Yeah.
um, not as bad as they could have been. Like I didn't
Hmm.
obviously didn't fail anything, so I was able to get all the work caught up and just move on to the next semester.
Last question about the school side of things, but what are the kids at school like? You said you had support from your friends at school. Do they realize the like magnitude, if you will, like this is a award in a professional sport. This isn't an amateur award, right?
Yeah. Well, like up until like last year, I almost got like bullied because of it, like
Oh
because it was
no.
like different.
Uh-huh.
Um, but yeah, just this year recently with me being a pro and actually being able to make money playing disc golf, people are kind of like respecting me a lot more,
Hmm.
and even teachers for that matter. So that's cool to see.
Yeah, that it's funny how the dollar signs kind of legitimizes it all, in that regard. But Um, you know, where do you go from here? Like I said, this isn't an Am Worlds championship. This isn't a Junior World Championship. It's not an Am Nats championship. This is a professional award on the Disc Golf Pro Tour. Where do you see yourself, in 2022 and beyond from a gameplay and in your career?
I'm thinking I'm gonna get at least one win on a Elite Series level here next year or the year after. I think even with tournaments like the by four and still having so many mistakes, it felt like, um, or Clash Canyon Silver Series, that was I airballed two putts in the water and ended up losing by two. And I feel like I played terrible there too. So, there's a lot of like room to improve. I feel like, another thing I felt this year too was as the year went on, it felt a lot easier just to get the birdies. The birdies feel so difficult on your first few Pro Tour events.
Mm-hmm.
It just kind of feels like you're falling behind slowly. A lot of pars where I feel like I really displayed it at the Pro Tour finals where I was able to, come back from a few opening bogeys to come back and get those birdies on very difficult holes. So I think if I can do that, clean up a few strokes next year per round, I think I'll be top 15, top 10 every event and hopefully win at least one.
I love it, and I love the confidence, and your play backs it up though. Like you said, one of the hardest things to do on those tour courses is get the twos, get the threes on the par four. You can chip your way up and find yourself a lot of pars out there, but do you feel like that's your game developing? Do you think that like it's just like the timing's finally clicking and the shots are finding themselves in the circle? Like, what's different now that you're finding the birdies?
Well, I just feel like it's, like I said, easier. Like, I feel like my skill set has obviously improved a little bit,
Mm-hmm.
but not like a ton to really make a difference to where like I didn't have those shots before. Like, I've pretty much always had those shots,
Mm-hmm.
with the last few years. But I think just, experiencing the holes on the
Mm.
Pro Tour help a lot because if I go back to a home course and it's like really short, I like I'll have intermediate dudes beat me all the time because I can't play on short courses,
Uh-huh.
and that's something I want to work on with my short game for sure. But I think just the course itself, it being more difficult, I feel like I shine at a more difficult course than I do something that's a little bit easier.
Yeah, and I think that that's like a fair assessment for a lot of pros too. Once the playing field gets leveled to 240-foot holes where everybody can birdie, the localness plays a lot into that as well. What about like media plans? You're young. I would imagine you're a little bit more in that social media world, and that's part of your life and lifestyle. Whereas like some of the older players didn't quite grow up with that, just like in their life. Do you? But we don't see yourself, in a bunch of videos on social media a ton. Is that something that you want to focus on going forward, like appearing in something like the skins matches, like I know you just did recently?
100%. I feel like media is the biggest reason that players get the attention that they do. Obviously, playing is very, very important, but also just having your brand is super duper important. So I'm going to work on a YouTube channel, keep posting on Instagram. I did pretty terrible this year doing that, so I'm going to hopefully get a lot better. My goal is to do one post a day, and it's actually helped my followers. I've gained like 1,000 followers in the last month or something, so that's cool to see. By just posting more.
Mm-hmm.
But I want to definitely get in more YouTube videos, try to get on, just some of the random stuff, like you said, skins matches, or any like the fun Jomas videos that they
Mm-hmm.
film with like flashback match plays and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So hoping to do something similar like that.
Um, you are sitting in front of a banner of someone who is very influential in your disc golf game and really the logo on your chest right now. Could you speak a little bit about Will Schustrick and how you maybe fell in love with the game, who you fell in love with, and why you ended up on Team Prodigy?
Yeah, so just starting out playing disc golf, and obviously I looked it up on YouTube, and the first videos I watched were with Will Schustrick in them, and that was kind of it, honestly. I For some reason I just fell in love with Prodigy. I liked the logo. I liked just how the stamps were.
Mm-hmm.
So it's always kind of been my dream to be on Prodigy. And then in 2017 at Am Worlds, I was like 12 or something. Will comes up to me and says, "I'd like to add you to the team." So that was kind of a dream come true. Have my favorite player saying that, and then getting on my favorite company's team. So that's awesome to see.
Yeah, that's wow, it's kind of crazy. I'm kind of getting chills a little bit. It is kind of like dream-like. And it is notable that like you came into the sport through media and really it was a little bit more niche back then. How old were you when you were talking or when you were watching these guys on YouTube?
I think my first time was probably late late into my ninth year or when I was 10. So
Okay.
not
Yeah.
like I haven't. It's not like I've been playing since I was like 3, like some people. But yeah, I had just moved to a new town actually. We had this massive park in our backyard, so that kind of allowed me to practice as much as I wanted to.
Hmm. The secret to the distance is coming to light now. Like just being able to rip shots as a young child.
Oh yeah,
Um, to be able to get this good at such a young age, relative to your competition, I think objectively you're going to have a parent that supports the dream, right, and supports. I can't speak to the whole situation, but I do know that your mom is at with you a lot at these tournaments. Could you talk a little bit about your relationship with your mom and your mom's like support really through this whole thing?
yeah. She's always been super supportive about anything I do in life. Especially with disc golf, she saw how much I loved it and how much I like wanted to become a pro.
Mm-hmm.
And she's gone to every single tournament except for one, and that was Green Mountain Championship because I was really far away. But so that was the first time I flew out by my own. But yeah, she supported me ever since my first Am Worlds in 2016 when I was like 11. And I mean, I remember telling her, Mom, I hope I never quit disc golf. I hope I never lose interest in it because I love the sport so much. And she's been there every step of the way.
Man, that's so good to hear, and really, it's like inspiring stuff. I think for a lot of young up and comer players. Um, let's talk about next year a little bit, and what are the tour plans? 2022. The schedule's already been posted. There's people planning. What's your idea for next year?
My goal is to hit pretty much every single tournament except for probably only a couple.
Mm-hmm.
Those would probably be just kind of random ones that might be a little bit out of the way.
Mm,
Obviously, with school, it's going to be really difficult to keep up. My
sure.
district is making me stay in person until the year ends, which kind of is terrible. But when I say that, I mean in May, like when the school year ends.
Sure. Yeah.
So I'm going to be playing the whole like spring season with school involved, and with swings like the Texas swing with Waco, Belton, and Texas State championships. That's going to be really difficult to keep up with schoolwork and play all three of those. But I think I'm going to hit every single Elite Series pretty much, and hopefully tour with a few friends this next year.
Beautiful. Yeah. So that if I hear that right, that means that it's not kind of gonna just be like a off and on with mom. Are you gonna kind of do the tour with a crew next year?
Yeah, that's the goal. My mom's probably going to come to about half of them still,
Okay.
especially ones that are within 5-6 hours of my
Yeah.
house, which are
A
there's about
lot.
five, 4 or 5, yeah. And with the one challenge being here,
Hmm.
that's super sick to hear. That's only 45 minutes from my house, and I actually was able to help design that course. So that's awesome to see it on the pro tour.
Hmm.
Um, yeah,
Yeah, I love Pickard Park. Not to like detract from us. I filmed it 2017 US Masters out there, but it was in its like the old layout where it's kind of started with 4 or 5 little chip shots. You helped what transition it from that layout to this new Beastly layout?
yep, pretty much the whole thing. Me and my sponsor right here, Wander Disc Golf, he lives
Hmm.
about 15 minutes up the road from me, so we'd go down there hopefully maybe twice a week, 3 times a week, and work on the design itself. I wasn't able to help with any of like the building with like rocks and mulch.
Yeah.
I helped a little bit a few days, but not as much as a lot of the local crew. But yeah, with the overall design, it was pretty much just me and him. Using my experience from the pro tour and kind of his input as well because he's been at a few pro tour events just
Hmm.
spectating.
Man, I don't think. I think like a lot of people almost pick the Des Moines Challenge as their like favorite course, or at least like favorite new course on tour. And I don't think you're getting the credit you deserve, man, for partial design. There, we hear about Kale, Dustin Keegan last year. Where's the talk about you?
Yeah, I don't know. I guess I just didn't really market it much. So I have no idea. It was really cool to see. I know Kristen Tatar, it was like one of her
Hmm.
favorite courses she's ever played in the States. Silver Lat was like disc golf heaven. Colton Montgomery loved it. So that's awesome. That's awesome.
Hmm.
But hopefully I can get a little more recognition next year because we're gonna make it even more of a beast. We have
Oh,
tons of
geez.
plans to make it twice as sick as it already is. So
Wow. Okay, twice as sick. We may not ever leave then, unfortunately. But last thing I want to talk about a little bit is the room that you're sitting in. You're in Iowa. You mentioned at the beginning of the interview it's going to get very chilly. One of your best assets as a player is putting, likely because of the room you're sitting in. Could you talk about this, like your practice area? What's that like?
So I have two normal sized baskets, one skinny basket, and I have about 70 PA threes that are all almost brand new that I've just built up. I kind of kept buying them and didn't realize how many I had, but it's a good thing. So something interesting about me, I actually never practice putt outside ever.
Really?
I only practice putt indoors because I believe it's more important to get your stroke down and know how the disc flies. Where I've already had experience playing wind. Well, Iowa has constantly 15 to 25-mile-an-hour winds. So, a lot of tournaments I did good at this year were with wind, where I feel like in my standards, I putted pretty average, but other people that haven't seen that much wind, they had a little more struggles than I did. So I think putting indoors is the biggest reason that I got as far as I have with putting. Just throwing so many reps. I do about 300 to 400 a night, depending on kind of what I'm feeling. Some days I skip, but yeah, lots of reps and no conditions, perfect conditions.
Man, 300 to 400 a night. How is that for 7 days a week? You're telling me, or five, or is this like a weekday thing?
It's about like 5 days a week. I'll do
Yeah.
400 to 300, 400 a night. Sometimes it's like 100 a night. Sometimes it's like 700 or even 1,000. Kind of, with 70 putters and just rapid firing them. It goes pretty quick. Like I could get a 300 putts in 15 minutes. So,
Oh wow. Okay. So yeah, talk about your routine a little bit. Or you just have a stack of 70 that you're picking off the top and like working your way down? Is it like 7 sets of 10? Are you moving around and hitting targets?
yeah, I just go to the same spot. So another thing I do is I only practice putt at 30 feet, no closer, no further.
Wow.
Which is kind of interesting.
Yeah.
But yeah, I have a table back there. I'll just set them down. I kind of just grab them and chuck them down, and then I'll usually put about 6 in my offhand, and then just rapid fire.
Wow. Okay. 30 footers all day, no wind. There's a putting world championship in your future. I'm sensing it. All right. Well, hey, that's about all I have for this interview, but I want to give you a chance. Any shout outs, anybody you want to thank, anybody you want to, give it up to, the floor is yours.
Shout out to my mom, obviously, and just my parents for supporting me. Shout out to the 515 Disc Golf. That's my local disc golf crew. They help with Pickard Park so much, and the support has been amazing. I love them so much. Thank you to all my fans and supporters. It's been so incredible to, just get messages about saying, like, I've had a few people say, like, you're my favorite player now, and that like means the world to me to know that people look up to me. And then I want to thank God for this amazing opportunity.
Yeah, and really, I thank you for taking the time to do the interview. I know you've got school. You said it's very busy. You've come so far, man. You made early headlines in your career, being like the youngest to 1,000 rated, junior world champion, and now rookie of the year. So we can't wait to see what's next. Gannon Buhr, thanks again. For all of you at home, make sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel for interviews all off-season long.